Okay, you guys, let's dive right in. I am Christy with TattedHatGirlReads, and I have a cat that is very upset that I have shut the door for this recording. But let's dive right on in. I want to introduce myself and reintroduce myself. And that is basically what this video is going to be. There'll be another video later in the week, but for this video, that should have been posted technically yesterday, but it's going to be posted on Monday. I think today's the 19th of May. I want to say thank you to those who have stuck around since the early videos. They've been messy, but I'm growing. I am getting a little better. Not perfect yet. There's still things that I'll watch a video and I'm like, Urgh! But you got to post anyway and you got to go on, go on to the next one and learn from that mistake and then learn from the next one. For those of you who stumble across my page in the days, weeks, months, years, thank you for hitting subscribe. Thank you for following the journey. And I hope you engage in the comments with me so that we can talk about the videos that not the videos, but so we can talk about the books that you love and the books that you recommend and make this an entire community. There's so many communities out there. So you stopping by my page, I do appreciate greatly because there's definitely some that are so much better than mine, but we are trying. I am retired, project management of 16 years. I'm an empty nester to a daughter who moved out at 21. And I just found that, I'm tired of documenting my fitness journeys. I am tired of running that rat wheel on Instagram since 2017. It's just time for a big shakeup. And I have all this time, so why not? I decided to go all in here at YouTube. I have a TikTok page, which I'll link below, and an Instagram page. The Instagram page is actually new, and I'll link that also below. The content's going to be a little slower there until it gets momentum because I don't want to become spammy to a page that I'm new on, even though I'm not new to Instagram. The goal here is to create one talking video a week. If you have other suggestions of what styles you like, because I definitely have other styles that I watch. I like the vlog style to watch, but I am not that creative yet. So I feel like these are a little bit more in my comfort zone. But if you have suggestions, please tell me, or if you have any recommendations or things that you would like to see here as we move forward, let me know. I'm thinking of making the shorts and the stories a little more vlog style. So if I'm reading, record that, hop in and say something about where I'm at, and hop back out, record, that sort of thing. Things that we tend to watch other YouTubers do quite often, to be honest with you. And I thought about trying them, but I'd rather do it in my shorts. I'm not ready to go to a full-length video yet and bore you to death. Because this journey has been so interesting, I wanted to talk about where I started as a reader. I started as a young reader. My parents bought me books from some subscription service, I'm not sure, but I got this big box of these thin books. They weren't golden or any one of those. It was something else that my parents had discovered at the time, somewhere in the 90s. But it had a lot of Pocahontas, Hiawatha, things that made me open my mind and think about. And it helped me see the world in a way that I did not see the world yet. Then I moved into Nancy Drew, which, first off, Nancy Drew is a lot more challenging as an adult than I remembered as a kid, okay? I started out with Nancy Drew. I loved the suspense. They literally stood on the edge of my bed, sitting with the book open, trying to read before my parents found out I wasn't actually getting ready for bed yet. I got in so much trouble with that. I fell in love with Nancy Drew. Later in life, tried to read Nancy Drew to my daughter and realized, holy cow, something about the way these pages and these words are formatted is so different than what I remember. And I'm reading the older ones. I'm not reading the new revised Nancy Drew. Because, you can't do that. You got to, when you introduce something that you used to love, you have to start with the original with your children and then let them discover the new revisions, like Little Women, which, by the way, I like the book, the movie that was redone. There's been a couple, but we'll talk about that another day. I realized that was a lot harder to read. I literally have a photo of me, like, with my head in my hand. She's sitting on my lap playing with my teddy bear, and I'm just trying to read to her. And I was like, this is so difficult to read. Nancy Drew is actually hard. But I have since grown from Nancy Drew. I went into more suspense. I did have a craving for Stephen King. I cannot remember the first Stephen King book I ever read. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm a huge Stephen King fan and he trumps all suspense and horror. But there was one that I read that really made an impact on me. And to this day, I actually cannot remember what book that was. But I remember it being quite trippy for me. And then I went from there to romance a little bit. But I think I started with historical romance before I started romance books. Stick around because we do evolve, don't worry. But historical romance was intriguing. I enjoyed not only the love triangles, but then, hey, you read so many now, I can pretty much tell you who she's going to marry from page one. And it's just wonderful and who will be the next book character. I have absolutely a sweet spot for historical romance in my heart, and that'll never go away. I moved into romance, I think, after that. And then from there, I'd say we went more to fiction. Historical fiction is definitely a space. I love a good storyline in a war book. So I would say if I had to pick out one of my most favorite fiction books ever, it would be The Alice Network, because it was dealing with women and how they moved messages through a chain during a wartime. And that book really, not only did it have a twist that I was kind of surprised by, but then the sadness, the depth, the color, the words, the visual aspects of it just really hit me, and I fell in love. And fiction, historical fiction, war fiction really is a place that I will still find comfort in, especially when I need a change of pace on my reading. And suspense. Mystery is still a huge place. If I need a break in my reading rut, that is where I'm going to go. But now, as I promised, I have evolved. I am into romantasy a little bit. Thanks, Sarah J. Maas. I have to be honest, that's probably where I can say that I really fell into that genre a little bit. Then it's fantasy, epic fantasy like Robin Hobb, sci-fi, Red Rising. Come on. We have really evolved since Nancy Drew. The beauty in all of the fantasy that I read, the new worlds, the landscapes, the characters, if I can get a hold of a good, witty main character and there's a lot of banter, I am in heaven. If you can color the world beautifully and quickly, I'm in love, and I'll hang out with you the entire series or just the standalone book, whichever, I don't care. But that's where we are now. We read a lot of sci-fi, more than I thought I ever would. I'm on the Murderbot now because the Apple show came out, so I knew I had to catch up so I would understand what was going on. Turns out I think I only needed the first book, but we are into book 3 now. Book 2 was fabulous. I might do a review on it. They're really not that long of books, so I really feel like the best review I can do is a series review. So I got some time for that one. Red Rising. I started Red Rising. I picked up the book because the book looked dope. And I was like, okay, I'm going to read this for the summer in the pool. I'm taking it off from school and I'm going to read in the pool. And that book is so messed up from where I read it in the pool. I had a Kindle, but I had made this commitment to read this book in the pool. So I need to replace Red Rising book 1 for me. It's paperback, so it's not that expensive. But I fell in love and I just finished the series January, February, somewhere in that time frame. And there's a video on it, like with Lightbringer. And I cannot wait until book 7, but I am willing to be patient for it to be the perfect final book. Epic fantasy, I'm into Robin Hobb pretty hard. I don't even know if you can see it, but this entire 2 shelves and a half are Robin Hobb because her writing is beautiful, but she is fantastic at characters and conversation and just kind of slowly walking you through. I normally don't like a slow-paced book, but these are beautiful and I do listen to them mostly, so I have someone just gently unfolding a story to me, and I am a sucker for that. I love it. I think that's why I'm enjoying Murderbot series, is it's just a general conversation. It's light, it's fun. I don't miss a lot if I am zoned out. I am reading Martha Wells's Witch King right now. Character driven, but for some reason it's so slow that I am struggling a little more with that one. That happens. This year I have a rule to myself of starting every series I own. So when I buy a series, I buy the entire series. I don't buy just one here, let's try it. I buy the whole series. And so this year has been read book 1 of every series I own. And it is time now to move on to some of these other people. I'm stuck in Robin Hobb hard, and I want to go ahead and read book 3 of the Farseer trilogy, but I can honestly say that there are some other books that I need to get on. Devils came out. I'm reading it at night. I'm not supposed to be on that book right now. I'm supposed to be reading Witch King, but it is so slow that I had to jump ship for a few days. I will hop back on that starting probably tomorrow. But where would I like to see Tatted Hat Girl Reads? I would love to see this page grow. I would love to see it community-based, community growth. So in other words, not just community numbers growing, how many followers do I have, but how much of a community have we built together to where, okay, now we need to take it off YouTube a little bit onto Discord or Patreon, one of those where we can actually create nightly readings, or not nightly readings, but like a night to read together, whether it be silently with a little bit of music or just completely silent. We just all say hi and get onto our reading. you know, we live in a world that's kind of chaotic and, you know, stressful. And I thought it would be kind of a fun space to be able to do kind of a, I hate to say silent book club because it's taking the idea of other book clubs out there, but it's also a generalization. So it's really hard not to take that and kind of run with it. It is a fantastic idea of, you know, we tend to be introverts to some level, or creatives that love books. And so being able to do it, show up silently with your coffee, your wine, your tea, your water, whatever, and maybe share in the chats if you choose to, but completely just build the community surrounding each other and love it on each other for a little bit. And I think that's one place I want to end up. Obviously, merch would be fantastic, but that's down the line. Reading text groups. So on Patreon, where we can actually maybe pre-post the YouTube videos, but also that we talk about the books we're reading in chat. And I like that idea. Later, I don't want to put a time frame on anything, so we're not going to do that. I would like to do a writing group. I would like to have that writing group coincide at the time where I'm doing a documentary of me writing my first book. It will probably not be fiction, not because I don't love fiction and fantasy, but because that's not my area that I'm most comfortable writing yet. But we'll get there, I think. But documenting my first process of writing a book. It will probably be nonfiction, something a little more factual truth, a way for me to let out everything. You know, I'm 48. There's a lot of history, a lot of things I would like to share. And I think leaving that legacy sounds like a beautiful thing to me. And I also have a little bit of poetry that seems to be stuck that I need to let out. And it would be fun to document that writing and that process. And you know, depending on what the pace feels like here and what it feels like, you know, everyone else is saying they want, or how times shift, going on into spreading our wings together as a group, reading friends and seeing where we end up. But I want to say again, thank you for being here. Again, I am Christy with TattedHatGirlReads, and I basically want to create a community that surrounds each other and supports each other for both writing and reading and talking about the things that we truly do love, care, and that light us up. And I hope you hit subscribe and like this video if you are sticking around so that I'll know you stuck around. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.